स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So, we will begin today's topic. Welcome to the Sunday Feast program here at ISKCON Portland. And we will recite a verse from the Bhagavad Gita and go into some detailed discussion. Today's topic is Sadhu Sanga. So, as many of you know, that Sadhu Sanga, or associating with saintly people, with saints, is a extremely important limb of bhakti. By associating with saints, we can accelerate our progress in bhakti many fold. So, there are 5 very significant or important limbs of bhakti, and one of them is Sadhu Sanga. The other ones are Bhagavat Shravan, Nama Kirtan, Mathura Vas, and Shraddhaya Murti Sevana. So, hearing and studying and understanding Srimad Bhagavatam's, Bhagavat Shravan, Nama Kirtan, I have and many other devotees have spoken in last many Sunday Feast classes about Nam Kirtan, or the importance, significance of chanting the holy name. Mathura Vas, staying in, and if not staying in, then at least visiting holy places like Vrajmandal and Navadvip, Mayapur Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham, and many other places like that. Preparing to visit, not like a tourist visit, but a contemplative, meditative visit. And Shraddhaya Murti Sevana, we all get an opportunity to do that in our homes, in the temple, and so on. And this is Sadhu Sanga. So these are the 5 very important limbs of bhakti. So we'll start with a verse on Bhagavad Gita that many of you know, and this is the verse in Bhagavad Gita that very beautifully or nicely shows the meaning of Sadhu Sanga, how to associate with a sadhu. So this is from the 4th chapter, and here the focus is Jnani. So, but the concepts are still the same. Even though the initial chapters of Bhagavad Gita focus on Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga, there are several reasons, and Bhagavad Gita is heavily or primarily a Bhakti Shastra, a scripture that exemplifies and glorifies bhakti and emphasizes bhakti, but it also contains these other paths, and the purpose for a bhakta, for one who has taken to the path of bhakti, the purpose of these other instructions in jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, karma yoga, etc. is to apply them to bhakti. How can we apply to bhakti? So even though this is from the Jnana Marg chapter, and it is referring to jnana, but the principles of how to approach a saint, there are saints in Jnana Marg, Karma Marg, Dhyan Marg as well, but the principles of approaching a saint are same. So we can recite the verse, maybe I'll recite one line and you can recite the line, so lead and follow of each line. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So there are three very clear aspects of Sadhu Sanga which are, associating with a sadhu here, which is called as a jnani. You can call him a bhakti jnani. This is how a bhakta would understand this. One who is very experienced. Jnana doesn't mean theoretical knowledge, it means theoretical and practical. So obviously the theory needs to be known to be applied into practice. So jnani is a bhakti jnani, one who is jnani in bhakti, and is a very high level person, a very advanced person who has seen the tattva darshinaha. So a person who has really been able to experience the tattva, the essence of bhakti. The highest tattva in bhakti is Krishna prema. So a very advanced jnani, bhakti jnani like this, from such a person we should take upadekshanti. He can instruct. And what are the three ways in which one should approach or one should take this association, this Sangha, is pranipata, pariprashna and seva. And I have done this color coding here. So pranipata is to approach submissively. To approach means first you have to surrender. It doesn't just mean approach. Of course, to ask a question, the other one is inquire. You have to approach. Yes, you have to send an email or you have to walk up to the person. That's not the meaning of pranipat. Approach. Submissively approaching, which means taking shelter of. Submitting, that I accept you as somebody who can instruct me. Like Arjuna said, Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. I now become your shishya or your disciple. So you may or may not become a disciple. It's very important though. We'll discuss some of those things. But the first step is just not an approach as a establishing contact, but actually taking a lower position and accepting, because jnana is like, you can think of it like water. It flows by the gravity, by the principles of it goes from top to bottom. So you have to take a lower position and accept it like this. So it will fall in your hands. So jnana is like that. You have to take a lower position, and obviously you take a lower position to somebody who you consider is higher than you. That is approach or submissive approach. So that is pranipata. Pariprashna is to inquire deeply. Pariprashna, otherwise it could have been just prashna sevaya. Of course, the meter would not fit, but there could be 1,000 ways to fit into the meter. This is Sri Krishna speaking the verse, so he has no problem. But pariprashna means to inquire deeply, to inquire, and we will cover this in the, and Srila Prabhupada's purport is fantastic. I sometimes feel Srila Prabhupada's purport needs a purport. And that's what I have tried to do today. I wish there was more like a super analysis AI or something that would, just elaborate. So anyway, you'll see how Srila Prabhupada has encoded some of these things in his purport. And sevaya, render service unto the saint. So Srila Prabhupada's purport is, I have divided it into two parts, part A and part B. Part B is more relevant from our standpoint of how to approach a sadhu, how to receive sadhu sanga. So the first, we'll read the entire purport, but the first part is more saying who can become a sadhu, or who has the eligibility, the adhikar to become a sadhu, or to instruct others. Becoming a sadhu doesn't mean like growing a beard and, or start taking on disciples and giving diksha. That is not sadhu. Anyway, so we'll read the purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhajicharana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is the first half of the purport. I have done this division. The path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from the Lord Himself. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to the disciple. No one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own process, as is the fashion of the foolish pretenders. The Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.19 says, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help lead one to the right path. So here Srila Prabhupada basically is saying that the spiritual master or whoever you're approaching has to be in the proper disciplic succession and shouldn't manufacture his own message, but should convey the message that is coming from the Lord. Of course, you can use your own way to communicate your own realizations, etc., but the message should be unaltered. Nor by independent study of the books of knowledge can one progress in spiritual life. The key word, in my opinion, here is independent. It doesn't mean you should stop reading books, otherwise Bhagavat Shravan would not be a limb of bhakti. So independent means one should get an understanding, and I will come to that. So all this will hopefully get clarified better. That's why I said Srila Prabhupada's purport needs a purport. I mean, this is so compact, otherwise spiritual knowledge is compact, is dense, is presented densely. Many acharyas, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the Chaitanya Charitamrita writes that if I were to begin explaining some of these, the volume of the book will become huge. Jiva Goswami said the same thing when writing the Sandarbhas. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami writes, this part I will leave out, otherwise the volume of the book will become too much. And Bhagavad Gita, as you know, is already thick enough. And, many people ask, hey, Bhagavad Gita we get in India and we can carry in a pocket. Why do you need such a thick one? Well, that's because our brains are thick. So you need a thick book to get through the thick brain. So, how many people can put the Bhagavad Gita in their pocket, but not in the pocket of their minds? It remains in the shirt pocket, doesn't go further, doesn't penetrate further. So yes, Bhagavad Gita can be printed, and they print it all, on a rice grain, on this or that, or in your little, they wrap up the Bhagavad Gita permanently in a little shell and put it in the neck, but it never comes out of the neck or of the throat. It remains in a little shell. So what's the point of, better to have a thick Bhagavad Gita that can go through our thick brains. Okay, so here is the part where now it's the disciple or the person who wants to take association, what he needs to do. This is part B, so to say, of the purport. And I have colored various portions. So I have used 3 primary colors, blue, red, and green, RGB, whatever, most easily visible. And each of them are connecting to those 3 points. Pranipata means to take or approach submissively. So that is submission or accept in full surrender. So blue is pranipata, as you can see from here, pranipat. Pariprashna or inquiry is green color. So everywhere you see inquiry, that's green color. And the third one is sevaya or service, that is in the red color. So I'll read the purport and then I have bolded various points and I'll expand on it in the future slides. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender. And one should serve the master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Each line is very important. I wish he would have written a 10-page purport on it explaining each line, again, to the detriment of the book becoming even more big. Inquiries and that gives, thanks to that it's short, gives me an opportunity to think about it and explain. So thank you to Srila Prabhupada for writing it compact so that we can have a nice discussion. Anyway, double-edged. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. So why I stressed on the comma? Unless there is submission and service. So submission and service become sort of the prerequisites for effectiveness in the resolution of inquiries. Unless there is submission and service, until then, so to say, the inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. Okay, so submission and service become prerequisites to successful resolution of inquiries. That's what it means. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. This is another very important point. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, so the test is for what? For the genuineness of the desire of the disciple. So spiritual master wants to see the genuineness. Because it's not that, hey, what's the problem, give the knowledge to one, give the knowledge to 100. That's fine. The books have been written, classes are free, public, 5 people sit in the pandal or 5,000. Srila Prabhupada did both, and it's not like if 5,000 are sitting, he would not say things that he would say to 5. I mean, the knowledge part of that is there. So we will see that aspect also, the genuineness aspect, the desire to see the genuineness aspect, because at a certain point, this spiritual knowledge is also confidential. That's why it is called Guhyatamam. It's secret. And I will try to explain what's the meaning. There's not like any secret formulas or any secret potion or any alchemy or, some secret recipe that if you, drink that, you'll become like, your glow will come from your head. It's not that kind of secret. So we'll see what kind of test needs to be passed. Then he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. Genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, now another point. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. So they are condemned not by, explicitly if you see in the word by word, there is no condemnation of blind following. But the word pari in the pariprashna is indicating that absurd inquiries should not be there. Pariprashna means, I'll expand on that. What is a good inquiry? And detailed inquiries, with what purpose? And inquiries itself, when there are inquiries, blind following means blind following. You don't question. Like a dictator, He says, go bomb this country. You don't question, hey, but that country is not really doing anything, is not a threat to us. Why should we go bomb them? You don't ask that. Okay, you just get an order, just close your brains and execute. That's not what Arjun did. That's not what Parikshit Maharaj did with Shukdev Goswami either. Lot of questions. So in that sense, Pariprashnena is indicating, even though in this verse, one can say where it is there in this verse, Srila Prabhupada is just writing. So you have to understand this is a saint speaking, and therefore one needs to associate with the saint. If you don't understand what is the meaning, you should go ask, or people who were there should go ask Srila Prabhupada, why did you write this sentence? And then he would explain. Otherwise, there can be two options, blind following or reject. Both are detrimental. Not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him. So it's not just hear submissively, hear, okay, heard, yes. But the purpose is to completely clearly resolve it for yourself at the highest level, to be able, to the extent that you should be able to resolve other people's doubts. You should get it. It's very easy to memorize equations and solve simple F equals MA. M is given, A is given, calculate F, multiply this. But you know how hard physics problems can get just on that F equals MA topic. So you have to get it, and then you can resolve queries. So that is important. Just say, I heard, yes, I heard. So it's not just hearing, and he's not just one should hear. One should submissively hear also is not enough. But that kind of submissive hearing that leads to a clear understanding. Did you hear the class? Yes, I heard this point. You pick 5 points. And genuinely, I'm not saying in a ridiculing way, but also really understanding what is not said, perhaps. And that may not come in one hearing. That may come in 5, 10, 15, 100 hearings, depending on the depth of the topic. In submission and service and inquiries, all three. SSI, submission, service, inquiry. Those are the three things. A bona fide spiritual master, which has been explained in the previous part, coming from disciplic succession, not self-manufacturing, is by nature very kind towards the disciple. That's all that he has said, and we will try to elaborate more. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, then, I'm adding the then to emphasize, or comma, then the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. So very, very, every line can be expanded into a whole class itself. So main points from the purport. And part B I have said because that's the focus of the class today. Part B. So first is SSI. What is SSI? Come on, quick. We don't have a lot of time. Yes, submission, service, and inquiries. Very nice. Submission, service, and inquiries. And another thing that we heard, how are they connected? One of the things, so I had elaborated this as we were going through the purport. Submission and service lead to effective resolution of inquiries. Okay? So many people approach a saint just to ask a question. And yes, maybe put something in the donation box outside. That is nice, and the saints are very kind. Even without submission and inquiry, they may, submission and service, they may provide the guidance. But if you really want high quality guidance, then submission and service are very necessary. It's not that they will demand it as a price. Your own, it's like you are putting butter in a hot pot. You're heating the pot. They will put the butter. But if your pot is not hot, it won't melt. It will stay solid. So you have to heat the pot. And then when they put the butter, it will melt and go inside your heart. Okay? They'll put the butter. So this is not a price of the butter. Okay, so SSI, submission, service, and inquiry. So submission. So I'm just, this is like just taking out the key points from the purport. Hearing submissively. Okay, so that was one part. What do you do in submitting? Submission doesn't mean just enter the room, pay obeisances, submit, and then leave. Yes, I am disciple of so-and-so, submitted, but never heard. So first is to hear. And hear to what end? It's very important. It's a hearing or reading session, hearing, and then afterwards, half an hour afterwards, what did you hear? It becomes so hard even to repeat 3 points that you heard in many cases. Now, in many cases, maybe the speaker hasn't explained properly or clearly enough. So there is something to say about the quality or the content of the talk as well. But the end goal should be one should be ready to or willing to churn what was heard and assimilate. And another important point is that put it into practice. Because when you put it into practice, then you will have questions. And then you will hear with that mindset, I want to tee out the answer to this question from this talk. I cannot tell you how many times I have read the same passage, purport, book, or a whole chapter because I have one question. Yeah, I have read that chapter, but when I read it with that sole question in mind, then I can see how that chapter answers that question. So you have to, it's a highly repetitive process of hearing or reading or studying, but gaining a clear understanding of the subject matter is the end goal of all this hearing and studying. And it may require multiple iterations. So that is the first S, submission. And they are interconnected. Second is service, SSI, service. And Srila Prabhupada, I'm just picking up the purport, like a menial servant. So it takes a lot. And sometimes when you become a more long-term disciple and all these thoughts come that, oh, I'll let somebody else do. Why I need to do? Or this is too menial, trying to associate the meniality with your Shri Nitai Sachinandan Dev ki jai. Without false prestige, also Srila Prabhupada said. And to satisfy the spiritual master. What it means, in my understanding, and there could be, so I am just giving you my understanding, that my realizations and some of the things, the way I am putting, okay, from various readings. I'm not self-manufacturing, but readings. Again, Srila Prabhupada's purport is half a page. As I said, he could have written a whole book on this topic. So, how to understand that? The onus is on us to understand it. from all the other literatures, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and of other previous acharyas as well. So satisfying the spiritual master means he should feel satisfied. How does he feel satisfied? When you do things that please him in his way, not in your way. Sometimes we think we know what will please him. That's like being a mom. Many of you, at least this half of the room, has not been a mom, and many of you may not be moms in the other half either, but you've all had moms. So you know what being a mom is. I don't know, one of those nagging moms, so to say. There are very nice moms as well, but moms are supposed to be nagging in that cliche sense, I'm saying. No offense meant. But, so not by being the mom of your spiritual master, of Diksha. And here spiritual master means Diksha or Shiksha, either one. So doing things that please them. Sometimes one may think that, or one may assume that what pleases me should please everyone. And the most important thing that we neglect in pleasing them is to follow their instructions. We think, oh, instructions are like they are giving. Really, they don't care whether you follow or not. आए प्रवचन दिया निकल लिए क्या मतलब उनको in English they came, spoke and left. They don't care whether we are following or not. What they really care about is we gave them a nice silk dhoti that they will carry with them, or money, or things. Those are the things we like. Or if you go and pick them up in the airport, pick them up in a Rolls Royce instead of, whatever your regular car, they'll feel like, yes, those are nice things if within your means, but not at the cost of that thinking that that's the only thing they like. Because we may like, if we go, somebody picks us up. Very nice. My talk is cheap, so I don't care whether people follow my instructions. I hardly give instructions. So that following instructions is not a priority for us, because we either don't give instructions, or even if we give instructions, we don't expect anybody to follow. That's the lowest priority. That is not true for a saint. And inquiries. So, no blind following. Two things Srila Prabhupada said. No blind following, and what was the other thing? All of you heard it. Let's see if you understood. No blind following and? Nobody remember. Yes, absurd inquiries. Very nice. So no blind following, first of all, which means you must get a clear understanding, and therefore the inquiries must be to clear the understanding or to get a clear understanding. The inquiries should be for that. Without inquiry, how will you get a clear understanding? I don't know of any method. Now some people think spiritual master, this is the blind following part. He knows what is in my heart. He has said this, and that's all I need. He knows already all my conundrums. So that may be true, but it's not the right mood in my understanding of a person who is trying to associate with a saint. One should, at a certain level, consider them to be as good as God. Now this statement, so I'll bring out some statements where we just completely lock on to some statements and forget the purpose behind the statement. That when spiritual master is to be worshipped or respected as good as God. So it is in the mood of our respect and our worship or our, service to them as good as God. But they're not their omniscience is not as good as God. May not be. Or at least we should not assume. And even if he is God, we should not, if we keep it in our heart, even God will not reveal. Case in point, Sri Krishna. Once Arjun began to ask questions, then he spoke. If he knew, then even before coming, why he waited till Arjun started lamenting? He would have said, my dear Arjun, in the palace itself, the night before the war, I know you have all these questions, let me sit down and resolve it for you, so that tomorrow you don't delay the war after the bugles and the conches have been blown. Arjuna's questions and that whole thing began after the bugles and conches were blown, which means the missiles could have started flying already. And this fellow is just, now having all the questions. It's like the examination paper has been given, and then you're asking, wait, what is the formula? But Krishna is kind enough to start teaching after the whistle has been blown. So absurd inquiries should not be there. And blind following is this so detrimental. Some cliche statement is, if spiritual master made a spelling mistake, the dictionary must be changed. No. In that sense, you have to consider that, yes, if he has made a spelling mistake, you go fix the spelling mistake. That's fanaticism, that's emotional. So what are good inquiries? So just again, all of this, there could be a lot more that can be said, time is short. Meaningful inquiries regarding one's, or even general, but primarily one's benefit. Now if two saints are sitting and talking, and they do, then one can ask each other questions about general benefit. I heard a conversation between His Holiness Sachinandan Swami and one saint in Vrindavan by the name Vinod Bihari Baba. And Sachinandan Swami was asking His Holiness Sachinandan how to get the taste in the holy name. I mean, imagine Sachinandan Swami asking that question. It's clearly not his question, it means. At least I can say that. I have read his couple of books, Nectarian Ocean of the Holy Name and Broken Names. There is no doubt that he does not know how to get taste in the holy name, but that is like asking for general benefit. But primarily for one's own, first resolve your doubts before trying to resolve other people's doubts. About what? About all these things. These are the three Sanskrit terms taken from a specific verse. But Swarupa Siddhi means, what is my goal in life? That I am not really a living entity belonging to the material world, but to the spiritual world. How to get there? Bhajan. Progress in bhakti. How to do that? About sadachar, good conduct. Krishna specifies this in 12th chapter, both things. It starts off with personal and impersonalism, which one is better, but immediately he goes into first is bhajan, bhajan kriya. He defines sort of like a levels or ladder. If you cannot do, this is the highest. If you cannot do this, then here do this type of bhajan. If not, then do this type of bhajan, then do this type of bhajan, etc. I'm sorry, I would love to go into that, but there's no time to do that right now. So Bhagavad Gita 12.7 onwards to 12.12 is those levels. Then next, immediate he goes into sadachar. How to behave properly, be friendly with others, don't get angry on others, etc. From 12.13 to 12.20. So these are good inquiries, not about, which job should I look for, or, should I marry this girl or that girl, or my kid should get admission in this college or this, or spiritual master is not your college admission advisor, not your marriage bureau, not those things. He is your bhakti bureau, bhakti counselor. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, I think I saw somewhere recent this thing tag or something. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Bhakti questions only, semicolon, no home problems or something. I don't know, I may be misquoting, but something in that lines. Please don't ask me all this. If you have questions of how to make progress in your spiritual life, which is all these three things, then please ask me. Don't burden me with all this. And the purpose of all this is to enhance clarity or application. So, how to apply for myself? So, questions or unclarity will emerge when you try to apply. If you don't even try to apply, everything is clear as mud. In reality, one thinks it's clear as glass, but actually it's clear as mud. That's why that phrase has been coined. We don't realize it's as clear as mud. What are poor inquiries? So to understand good inquiries, we must also know what is poor. Otherwise, there'll be confusion or unclarity. So poor inquiries, first of all, completely unrelated. This particular bullet is in relation to a specific topic being discussed in a class, kind of, which is unrelated to the topic. Or at least if it is unrelated, or if you think it is related, show the relationship to the topic. Say, I am asking this because I feel this is the connection, and therefore I am asking this related question. Or show off. The question is less of a question, more that, oh, in this verse, and then you quote 5 verses and this and that. And that word seems to be a little bit, or whatever, this. But the purpose was not to ask between that verse and this verse. The purpose was to show off. And many times, what if questions, which means they are not meaningful to one's own progress. What's the point of asking a question which is not meaningful to your progress? The saint's time is very, very valuable. If you don't have a question, give the time to others who may have meaningful question. Again, this is probably something of a show-off in the sense, yeah, I have a question. It's fine to not have a question. But ask. Well, it's not fine to not have a question. In some sense, it indicates lack of application. Unclear questions, political, hidden agenda, all those things are there. I'm not going to elaborate on that. I have a lot to cover. Probably I'll not cover everything. We'll see. And then Srila Prabhupada mentions this thing. Don't fail the genuineness test. Remember in the purport it was written? One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. Which means the test is for what? When he sees the genuine desire, the test is for testing the genuineness of the desire of the disciple to make spiritual progress. Oh, that sentence was here as well. I had copied it. So there is this beautiful verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the very beginning that says it all. And it is often missed because it is so early in the Bhagavatam that, okay, Bhagavatam has just begun. How can we, have such deep verses right on, of course, the first 3 verses are already very deep, but that's it. The rest of the first chapter is like, okay, we'll just, second chapter of first canto, that's where it really begins. But this 1.1.8, and Srila Prabhupada very expertly has hidden the meaning of this as well in the translation. I'll show you. Vettatvam saumya tat sarvam tattvatas tad anugrahat bruyuh snigdhasya shishyasya guravo guhyamapyaut. So, this is when Suta Goswami happened to arrive at the scene where Shaunakadi rishis were conducting 1,000-year yagya. And the moment he came, they left that whole activity in one instant. I'm paraphrasing, or I'm a little bit, dramatizing. And just said, oh, Suta Goswami, you're here, okay. Thank you, we don't want to do the yagya, we'll just listen to you. Why? Because you are very dear to your Gurujanas, to the saints. You have been a very, very, very dear disciple. And they have revealed the internal secrets of their heart to you. The internal secrets of their heart. Now, there are secrets. They are literally secrets. Go ask any saint, have you seen God? Either they will not answer, or they will give a very cheesy or a sarcastic answer. Once Srila Prabhupada was asked, can you show me God? No, first was, I think, have you seen God? He kept quiet, I think. And then, can you show me? He said, yes, I have seen, but you cannot see. I have the eyes, but, the question was itself like a little, like a challenging, or like a more, I would like to give it a little bit more negative spin. Like a, sarcastic or a challenge, but a challenge like, तूने देखा है क्या? In Hindi you can express it a little bit more, like, it was like that, little derogatory mood at least, not the words. And Srila Prabhupada gave a befitting. So ask any saint what kind of bhajan you do when you are alone. They will be hesitant to share, because these things are not to be shared. What will one get? And the reason they are not to be shared is you cannot get even if they share. You have to go through the hard process, because then you will make it your own. So, but to a very close disciple, so that's why it is a bruyuh snigdhasya shishyasya. Now, to a snigdha shishya. Snigdha means one who is very close, very affectionate. Such a guru, to a very snigdha shishya, guravo guhyam apya uta. They will tell their deep secrets. So first you have to serve them, you have to take their Sanga very closely for maybe years, 10, 20, 30 years, before, if you ask them then genuinely, have you seen God? They will tell you, yes, I have seen. And here is how it happened. One time, blah, blah, whatever happened. They will say, if they have. These things, these kind of questions are the ones they will never answer in a. And the point is, when you hear it from their mouth, I have some experience of this. Your own conviction increases tenfold, 10, 20, 30-fold. Yes, this is true. Yes, in Bhagavad Gita it has been said, Aham sulabha partha. I am very easy to obtain, you will come to me, all that. Why don't people start following Bhagavad Gita? Because it was said by Krishna, he is just standing on the altar like a statue. Who knows if all this, but if a person whom you have seen, he has is living his life like this, and he thumps on the table and says, you do this, this process is true, I have seen, you will also see if you do. That conviction comes. So this word guhya is not even there in the translation. It's there in the word by word. That is how Srila Prabhupada has hidden it. So you must not, many people just skip the word by word and just read translation. That's, you're missing out on half of the value. So who is a sadhu? So now I have like 5 or 7 slides, but I'll probably take this at a different time because we will start Aarti. Because once I start on this topic, then it will not make sense to keep going further. So maybe part 2 to be continued. I'm looking at the slides I have here on my phone just to see what all I had. So, just to give you a sense, so now all this is assimilation of my, so I have probably given some of the, or shared some of the things that I wanted to say here. So I'll just give you a teaser. Who is a sadhu? So, title is right there. And I just don't want to flip through the slides. That's like, just showing you the stuff and not explaining it. And then identifying characteristics of a sadhu. How do you identify a sadhu? Then how to find a sadhu? And then the importance or the significance of taking shelter. What was alluded to earlier. Pranipata. Not just approach and ask a question. So, ultimate goal is to get a clear understanding. But as Srila Prabhupada rightly said, without submission and service, inquiry will not be effective. It's not that it will be it will be non-zero. You will get some, but you will not be getting a full resolution or a very effective resolution. So that happens by taking shelter. Pranipat, like I said, gravity. Sit down, take a lower position. Submission, surrender. Why is that important? Some more on that. And then a lot of points on how to associate with a sadhu. What it means. If, let's say, video camera, what would it record? Fly on the wall will observe what? When somebody is properly associating with a sadhu, and what are improper aspects of associating with a sadhu. So all these points are coming up next in a potentially future session, TBC, to be continued. So we'll stop here. In interest of time, are there any comments or questions? I am no sadhu, so I don't expect any inquiries. But if anybody has any, I will try to clarify.
Hello. Thank you for the sharing the insights. Listening to it, I developed some understanding, but my intention of asking question is to either reinforce or clarify my understanding. How does one hear submissively but not get into habit of blind following? How would you describe distinction between it?
use your intelligence. God has given intelligence to everyone. Some more, maybe, some little less, we don't know. And intelligence is not calculated by your SAT score or your high school grades or your college grades or which college you went to. Okay? In India, you can see there are all these Sethjis and all, they're extremely smart, big businessmen who did not even go to college. Even today, many dropouts are the biggest billionaires. So intelligence, okay? So use your intelligence, which means that when you hear, try to really understand it. I mean, that's obvious. Understand. If I tell you, Prabhu, if you have $10,000, please put it in this stock. Will you blindly do it? Or unless you are a millionaire, multi-millionaire, and $10,000 don't mean anything for you, you will ask, wait, can you tell me which stock? Why do you think? What? Those are natural questions that will come to your mind because money is precious to you. So before doing any parting with it or whatever, before you will ask, it's just basic intelligence till you are clear. So get convinced. Conviction in the heart is like hunger. When you have eaten 5 chapatis, I need 5 chapatis, by the way. For some people, it may be 2 or 3, whatever. I'm a fat guy. But I feel, yes, now I feel. Don't you feel? Shri Srintai Sachinanande Bhagwan ki jai. Just like hunger, you know when it is satisfied, yes or no? Or does you have to put some equipment which will tell you now you are full? Conviction is same. Same. Internally you know that yes, now I am convinced. Just like hunger. And there is no one specific point. Now, click. It's not like a digital. So somewhere or the other, if food is too palatable, you may eat extra chapati and then you will have little bit acidity maybe. You're willing to go through it. So it's a little bit of a range. Agreed. It's not a digital, it's little analog. But it's like hunger satisfaction. Your conviction, you will know, yes.
Thank you.
So use your intelligence. Don't agree or whatever till you are. And a very important point is applying. The best answers for you are the ones, 2 questions which are meaningful to you, not to random questions. And those questions are meaningful which you have tried to apply and have some unclarity or failed to get the promised result. So apply, questions will come, and then you will hear with that angle. So all these things you have to do, and then it does not stay blind following, it becomes meaningful following.
Thank you.
Anything else? Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now we will engage in Aarti. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Please go ahead and please put the mats away, and then let's have stand-up kirtan, please. Thank you.
Namo Vishnupadaye Radhaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Nitya Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Nitya Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Srila Gurudev. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotrasta Shri Shri Mad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotrasta Shri Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Shri Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupada Shri Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sadhu Swami Prabhu Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Jai. Chaitanya Shri Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kanda Radha Kanda Kiri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki.
Namo प्रपदे नरसिंहमदीं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरेणका अद्भुत शृङ्गा तालिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवदीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे ओ केशवदीता नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज ओ जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 ओ निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल ओ निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की प्रहलाद महाराज की शुभोपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे
Thank you for bringing. Everyone who has kartals, the instruments, the cymbals, please bring them back and put so you can use them next time, okay? So, how are you all doing? Well, thank you. Very nice. Shri Chinitai Sachan Dev ki jai, Shri Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagwan ki jai, Shrimati Vrinda Devi ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. So we'll just make some quick announcements and important events coming up. So announcements and upcoming events. This looks a little different. Okay, so we'll share. Why does the projection look a little? Cheta Chandraprabhu? It looks a little different. Okay, you're using the phone. So yesterday we had Rath Yatra in downtown Portland. How many of you were there yesterday? So it was very nice. So please take a look. It's a short video, but it's a very sweet, beautiful video. We're waiting for technology. Anyways, we had a very nice Rath Yatra yesterday. I think there were Krishna Kesha Prabhu who organized the Rath Yatra. I don't see him here right now, but I think the tally was somewhere on. Is Mataji here? Rukmini Priti Mataji, what was the final count? We can only know by prasadam boxes, is how we know. But I think it was like 300 something, right? Yeah. It was very nice. It was very pleasant. The weather cooperated. There was simultaneously a protest going on in Waterfront Park, kind of like protests against all the the upheaval going around in the world and in the country. So. The interesting thing is they were doing their stuff, but when they saw the Rath go by with Lord Jagannath and devotees chanting, they were very appreciative of it too. They weren't like angry or something like that. So, and a lot of standard buys, got some prasadam, and they got invite to Janmashtami, and that was nice. I think it was very favorable, and all the outside, the non-regular people in our community were there, and there was a chance to outreach to quite a nice group of Westerners as well. Normally we're situated in a temple where predominantly it's Indian-bodied, and there it was like lots of Westerners, and I think Srila Prabhupada would have been happy with that. So please, you can go to our, is Padivali Mataji here? But I think it's on our website, no, at this point? No, so you can watch it on our website. It's really nice. Jagannath Rath Yatra. Okay, next. And we have another one coming up in the future for those of you that missed it. Okay. So, anyone here for the very first time? No, I don't see anybody. Okay. And to those of you that have birthdays coming up, Anant, can you sit down right now? Please sit. Go to mommy. Okay. You've done this. He's very merciful. He wants to keep giving Nrsingadev flower. He's very gentle. So, in a little while you can play. For those of you that have upcoming birthdays or anniversaries, happy birthday, happy anniversary. May Shri Chinitai Sachanand bless you with many more so that you can continue in your spiritual journey and develop love for Bhagavan. Okay? Chaitanya Prabhu, next. Okay, I already did that part. Okay, so next important observance that we have is this Friday, this coming Friday, in the evening, we'll be observing Shri Balaram Purnima. So it's the appearance of Shri Balaramji, who is Krishna's first, Shri Krishna Bhagavan's first expansion. And it explains in Bhagavatam that he appears first in order to make everything suitable for the appearance of Swami Bhagavan Krishna. So in that way, he's the spiritual master as well, preparing our heart to receive Shri Krishna Bhagavan. Is the Janmashtami, is a Rath Yatra video uploaded on our website or not yet? Okay. Okay. I don't know, maybe ISKCON Portland YouTube down the line. We couldn't get it up right now. Okay. So Balaramji's appearance day is on Friday. So we'll be celebrating on Friday evening. Please come and observe and celebrate. Can we go backwards, Madhusudan Prabhu? So because any time we have appearance of Shri Nitai Satyanandan or Lord Nityananda or Balaramji or Krishna Bhagwan, we'll always have kind of a very opulent observance. So the request is for, if anybody wants to sponsor bhoga, food item to be offered to the Lord, then that's available. Also flowers for lordships like garlands and decorations, that's available. And there'll be an abhishek also that evening of Lord Balaram and Shri Nitai Satyanandan. So all those things, if you want to sponsor, you can sponsor. I'm now seeing it up there. And those are all available. So we're having it coming up this coming Friday. So please kindly consider if you would like to sponsor for those events. Okay, next. And then immediately after the subsequent day, Saturday, August 9th, we're going to be doing Maha cleaning, meaning full cleaning of the temple, because we're celebrating Shri Krishna Janmashtami the week after next. And so we need to prepare and cleanse the temple and temple room, altar, kitchen, etc. So if you have even a little bit of time, please sign up. There's a URL link there. It goes all the way from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And please sign up. Even if you can just give an hour or two, come and do. Okay? Next. And then the grand celebration of Shri Krishna Janmashtami is on August 16th, which is a Saturday. Which is on Saturday. So it starts its whole day. Hare Krishna. It starts whole day and starts, of course, in the morning. And most of the visitors will come from 5 p.m. onwards. And there's Abhishek, there's Kirtan, there's spiritual performances in the tent, there's gifts, there's books, Shastra to be obtained. There's, of course, Prasadam, and also darshan of the deities and association of the devotees. An opportunity for a lot of seva. If you can, kindly, it's a Saturday, so I think most people are not working, so if you can come on Saturday or Friday and offer some seva, that will be very nice. Okay. Next. Okay, so new for this year, we ask all of you, do not try to drop off your family on First Avenue. It's too dangerous. Police cannot block traffic flow on First Avenue. Because it's a main thoroughfare for Hillsborough. So it's impossible for them to put barriers. But if you drop off family, kids or your parents or whoever, you risk them getting killed. Because last year there were situations where people were getting upset because it's not meant to just stop in the middle of the road and drop off your elderly parents. One person tried to turn around the car and bring his truck right forward, and police had to warn him because they said, you almost could have killed somebody. So do not do that for your family. What we request everybody to do is see that little blue box on the left hand. That's a public parking lot that City of Hillsborough maintains. You go there, and we will have shuttles that will pick you from there and bring you back to the temple, and then take you back at regular intervals. That way we avoid like traffic, issues for everybody's sake. So we got a Shish Kapoor there. Okay. We're seeing a lot of stuff today. Okay, so the main thing is, please do not drop off your family here. You and your family go to the public parking lot. It's on these little cards that Madhusudan Prabhu's, can I see one? Is showing, and we have it on our website, I think, Padivali Mataji, yes? It's on the back. It tells you, do not park on like maybe about 3 blocks of Grant Street, because we need that for the shuttle. And then do not try to come into Grant parking lot. It'll be blocked. The police won't let you in. Okay, so you go to the public parking space, which is safe. And temple will take care of having shuttles bringing you here. So no drop off anywhere near the temple. Okay? If that sounds really bad, I just saw an email from Bhaktivedanta Manor in London, and for that you have to get an online ticket, and you're restricted to have darshan for a particular amount of time, because they get 50,000 people coming for Janmashtami. We're not there yet. Okay, and so there's opportunities for sponsoring bhoga. So for that day, Shri Krishna Janmashtami, so Patabi Ram Prabhu and family have offered. There's offerings for deity outfits, dress. Ashutosh Prabhu has offered, and others, and Shilpa Mataji. Flowers and Abhishek are available. Darvan Prabhu has offered Abhishek. So please try to offer some Lakshmi for these things. You get tax deductible receipt. So in the end you benefit financially as well. But you want to do it as something for Bhagwan. Okay. We all have families, we all have wives, kids, parents, etc. But were they our wives, kids, parents last year? Or not last year, but last lifetime? Or future lifetimes? No. So who was? It was Bhagwan himself. As Paramatma, he's sitting in our heart every lifetime. Whether we're in a good condition or a difficult condition, Bhagwan is always there. So let's appreciate his presence and his appearance. Very important. We should have a grateful heart. We should have a grateful heart, and we should do this. Srila Prabhupada's appearance day is on the day after Shri Krishna Janmashtami, and it's been sponsored, Bhoga by Raghavan Prabhu, I see him here, and Vijay Mataji, and flowers and Abhishek offerings can also occur. Go ahead. So for Sunday feast today, was sponsored by Vanessa Mataji and Krishnan Sharma Prabhu. Are they here? Vanessa Mataji and Krishna Sharma Prabhu? I don't. On the occasion of their daughter's birthday. There's no flower sponsorship for today. August 10th, we have sponsorships. So multiple devotee families can sponsor on those days. It's not limited to just one person or one family. Go ahead. Next. If you have a desire to get prasadam for your lunch, for yourself or your families, you can do that. There's a URL. You can contact the pujaris. Here's Ram Varma Prabhu. Raise your hand. And thank you. And you can call him, or you can email at a particular email ID, and you can order a very opulent, usually, prasadam. And it's $15 for one person and $12.50 for multiple people. Okay? And then we have now Srila Prabhupada's Leela by Her Grace Sri Pradha Mataji. But the main focus for today is please help sponsor the upcoming festivals. You're the congregation. There are Ishtadevs. There are worshipful deities. And we should do something to offer. Give them back what they gave us. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So my god brother Ambarish Prabhu, how many people know who he is? Okay, yeah, he's the great grandson of Henry Ford. So he comes from a very wealthy family, and he has given a lot of money to ISKCON. He actually bought the property in Honolulu, and now he's working on the TOVP. Ambarish Prabhu, about 2 weeks ago, had a stroke, and it was very severe. He's coming out of it, according to the doctors, he's going to be in rehab very soon. So Krishna has been very merciful to us that we get to continue having his presence on the planet. This Prabhupada nectar is from Perth, Australia, May 1975. And it's like the theme of it is, what is real love? We are giving, this is from Srila Prabhupada on a morning walk. We are giving Krishna consciousness. That is loving, real loving. We are giving him eternal life, eternal bliss. Unless we love them, why we are taking so much trouble? The preacher must love the people. Otherwise, why is he taking? He can do it for himself at home. Why is he taking so much trouble? Why, in 80 years old, I have come here if I do not love? So who can love better than a preacher? He loves even the animals. Therefore, they are preaching, don't take meat. Do they love the animals? These rascals. They are eating and they love their country. That's all. Nobody loves. It is simply sense gratification. If somebody loves, he is Krishna conscious. That's all. They are after their own sense gratification and they will put a signboard, I love everyone. This is their business. And fools are accepting. Oh, this man is very philanthropic. He does not love any man. He loves only senses. That's all. The servant of the senses. That's all. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Okay, we're going to have an announcement by Madhusudan Prabhu about distributing flyers and postcards for Shri Krishna Janmashtami.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we have printed around 2,000 postcard, invitation card for Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Last week I was distributing some flyers. Unfortunately today I missed it at home, but if you so desire, let me know and I can make that available for you. But we have postcard. I would request everyone to take at least 5 of these postcard from me today and distribute it to your friends, relatives, family members, and invite them to participate in Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Thank you so much. Just one more request. We have less than 2 weeks, and generally we distribute this in front of Indian stores, grocery stores across Beaverton, Hillsborough. So if you have some time during the weekdays, say an hour, half an hour, right? We generally do it in front of India Connection, Apna Bazaar, India Sweet and Spice, Krishna store. So if you can spend half an hour, 45 minutes, please let me know and I can make these cards available to you, make it available to you so that you can invite the people. Hare Krishna.
So because normally Shri Krishna Janmashtami oftentimes occurs after India Day in Portland or Beaverton. Last year it was in Beaverton that they observed India Day, Indian Independence Day. And we usually distribute thousands of cards, invites to families and guests of this event so that they can come here and be aware. Today, this time, we don't have that luxury because India Day is going to occur after Shri Krishna Janmashtami. And so what we need is everyone here, every family, and kids that are grown up, high schoolers, etc. If they can take 5, can I see the card? 5 of these postcards, give it to one of your friends, like family, like the head of the household, whether it's Prabhu or Mataji, they can give it to their friend circle. And that way, automatically 5 families get it, and they can come. And then, if you need more, you can let Madhusudan Prabhu know. He can make more available. But at least every family should take kindly 5 of these cards with them is what he's requesting. There's no cost, etc. Just give it to 5 other families, okay? Don't give it to a little 5-year-old child. Like, he can't help there, okay? Did you want to say anything else? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. You can help make sure that for Bhagwan, Shri Krishna Bhagwan, there's happy, enthusiastic celebration of his coming. I was a couple of years ago in Delhi, and I saw posters all over Delhi. Imagine how many posters. And all it has was, Bhagwan's eyes. That's it, just like a little strip showing Bhagwan's eyes saying, he's coming. He comes continually, but that's to generate enthusiasm. So devotees have to be creative to bring somebody in, like Mataji was saying. Preaching or sharing is not easy, not easy. That's why offering bhoga or sponsoring bhoga is the initial recommendation, because eating food and things like that is a source of pleasure for everyone. And engaging that pleasure-seeking desire in the form of offering food items to Bhagwan and then taking is prasadam. So it's a very fundamental thing. The desire to enjoy is with us. And offering prasadam is a way to help make that spiritual. Okay, so like that, you taking some time and sharing your Krishna consciousness and giving it to another family will be nice for you. It will benefit you. If not this life, 10 lives down the line, 100 lives down the line. There's some acts in bhakti which you do consciously, and there's some acts in bhakti which we don't do consciously. We just did it out of just a desire to do some good. They both have positive benefits, so please, this is an act that you can do, and it will help us greatly. Okay? I think the video thing is still going round and round, so my sense is it's not going to work. Is that correct? Krishna Kesha Prabhu, we said about 350 people attended Rath Yatra yesterday. Okay. So we talked about it. Krishna Kesha Prabhu and others organized a very beautiful Rath Yatra with a lot of love and support from the community. Let's hear for that endeavor with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. I see it getting bigger and bigger, Krishna Kesha Prabhu. Very nice. Sorry. Okay. So if you didn't get a chance last year, you'll get, this time, you get another chance on September 6th, which is Saturday, and then again, hopefully next year in Portland, etc. Okay? I think that's it for announcements, from what I know. Thank you very much. Will the Kirtan group do a